Hey good people, welcome to the channel. I'm Musically Malnourished, and you're on my journey to go deep and wide in discovering new music and artists. We are checking back in with Linkin Park for their sophomore album from 2003 called Meteora. I don't know why I almost broke that up as to meaty aura. I got some meaty aura about me. This was where my time with Linkin Park ended way back when I was a teenager. I'm about to turn 38, so it was a good minute ago, but I didn't listen to them past this. We'll see what I remember. I know that there's a few of the singles from here that'll probably stand out to me, but dude, unless it just comes back from back then, which happened a little bit on Hybrid Theory, this should be a fairly fresh experience for me. So I'm excited about doing this as well, because then we'll get to watch the, was it Live at Texas or something like that? A live show that they did that I think was filmed and done pretty well. So we'll get to watch that over on Patreon. So that'll be fun. I'm going to listen to each song and then keep some notes in my handy dandy notebook. That way, after each track, we can talk about the things that stand out and see what other information we can find out. If you want to skip to a specific song, the timestamps are in the description already. So feel free to do that, or just press play and let's hang out. But let's go ahead and get started with track 1, which is a foreword. So we'll probably let it play into track 2, and then we'll go back and look at both of them. All right. Here we go. Oh, I remember this. Yeah, dude. Love the scratching, man.
Sometimes I need to remember just to breathe. Sometimes I need you to stay away from me. Sometimes
yeah, it's rushing back.
Belief I didn't know. Somehow I need you to go. Don't forget our memories, forget our possibilities. What you were changing me into. Just giving myself back and don't stay. Forget our memories, forget our possibilities. Take all your faithlessness with you. Just giving myself back and don't stay. Sometimes I feel like I trusted you too well. Sometimes I just feel like screaming at myself. Sometimes I'm in disbelief I didn't know. Somehow I need to be alone. Just forget our memories, forget our possibilities. What you were changing me into. Just giving myself back and don't stay. Forget our memories, forget our possibilities. Take all your faithlessness with you. Just giving myself back and don't stay. I don't need you anymore. I don't want to be ignored. I don't need one more day of you wasting me away. I don't need you anymore. I don't want to be ignored. I don't need one more day of you wasting me away. With no apologies, don't stay. Forget our memories, forget our possibilities. What you were changing me into. Just giving myself back and don't stay. Forget our memories, forget our possibilities. Take all your faithlessness with you. Just giving myself back.
The DJ scratching really makes them stand out, man.
Don't stay.
Okay, we're going to try to be sensitive to transitions within the album. If I sense a transition, I'll let it play to the next one. And yeah, it's just like I remember being younger. I don't remember if I had this CD or if my friend had it. But, back then, before we were like, well, I guess around the same time we were ripping songs from LimeWire and Napster and stuff like that and making our own mixes. But for the most part, like we didn't have any money, as most teenagers. And so you end up getting an album. Either you're able to buy it or your parents are willing to buy it for you. And then you pretty much just played it over and over. And so as the album is just moving on, I'm like, oh gosh, I remember that. I remember that transition. Man, Linkin Park sound is so cool. And the DJ scratching, I think, really sets them apart. And they do so much production-wise, just with layered vocals and reverb and all these cool things and stutters. And it's just such a good, tight sound, man. All right, let's get in and check out this Foreword. Okay, the opening track, brief 13-second introduction, which it gives it this real moody vibe, right? Doesn't contain any instrumentation or vocals in the traditional sense. Instead, features the sounds of Mike Shinoda smashing a CD player with a baseball bat. Shinoda explained in an interview, Foreword is just an intro. You know what Foley work is. It's my first attempt at Foley work. Basically, it's noises I made in the studio breaking things. We have this CD player and CD burner attached to my computer, which basically just ate crap during the writing process. Gave Chester and I such a hard time. Burning CDs, which should have taken a minute, were taking 20 minutes, 30 minutes to an hour. Just got so frustrated with the thing. I put it to the side knowing I was going to beat it with a baseball bat, Office Space style. And that's what I did. Smashed it with a baseball bat on a metal table. It's awesome. So this album was written in 4 places in the past year and a half, in the band's tour bus, at Mike's house, at Energy Studios, and at Soundtrack Studios in New York. This intro was recorded at Mike's house after the rest of the album was finished. Very cool. That's great. I didn't know he was breaking stuff in it, so I'm going to have to listen to it with different ears. Just a typical non-song intro. All right, let's hop over to Don't Stay. Which one of the things I was really excited about is getting into these albums, other than like experiencing Linkin Park music I haven't heard, which there's so much of it, but was listening through an adult lens now, because I was a teenager, very melodramatic teenager when I first encountered Linkin Park. And so listening through it with a different lens, much more life experience, I think is really interesting as well. With this song, it does just sound like a toxic relationship, and that could be with any different or any number of individuals in our own lives. But this feeling of Chester's communicating of like wanting to reclaim yourself, right? That you don't need this person anymore. And there were lyrics in there that seemed to show like there was a side of this person that they didn't know or didn't necessarily see. And sometimes that can be on us. A lot of times, though, with people that are very toxic or abusive, they tend to hide it until they can't. And so that's what it seems like he's saying is like, I can't believe I didn't see it, or I should have seen it. And then, because he was in disbelief that he didn't know, and this person's just wasting him away, right? And the other side of it, too, is, and there's a difference between just regular relationships and every relationship, friendships, working relationships, marriages, romantic relationships. They all have ups and downs, right? Because we're people and we're working through things, and sometimes we say things we don't mean, or we're impatient, or we're we could be greedy, or whatever it is, or just having a bad day and we're not showing up with the best of ourselves. And so with those, like, you're giving and you're taking and you're apologizing at times, or sometimes it's not even necessarily that you need an apology from the other person. It's just forbearance. It's just recognizing, man, okay, maybe they're having a tough day, and you give them grace. But then with, this kind of thing, not only is it this toxic relationship, this person seems to be abusive to some extent or whatever. But then there's like even no apologies, right? So they're kind of just operating on their own and not even recognizing like, yeah, you're right. Man, I screwed up, or I'm in the wrong headspace. I'm so sorry. And working it out. This person's just kind of hurting people, exercising their own will without caring about how it's affecting others around them, and there's no apology. So this says, it opens Meteora with a burst of frustration and defiance, channeling Linkin Park's struggle against toxic influences, whether in personal relationships or the music industry itself. The track is widely interpreted as a subliminal diss aimed at the band's old label management, who tried to stifle their creative vision and even suggested Mike Shinoda should stop rapping and stick to keyboards. Shut up, dude. While others falsely claimed credit for their work. Echoing themes later explored in songs like Get Me Gone and High Road, Don't Stay transforms that tension into a demand for independence and self-respect, as the band pushes back against those who try to change them or diminish their identity. That's what Linkin Park said in the booklet. Mike and Brad's original guitar parts for this song had a reggae-style vibe. After numerous transformations, probably 5 or 6 different guitar versions, Brad developed the final recorded version under the working title Sick. This song was one of the first tracks finished for the album. Notable, Joe recorded the opening scratch solo on the first take. Jeez. Yeah, I'm trying to remember this album. No matter how old you are, the band is ageless. I thought the lyrics are sometimes need to remember. The song is in drop B tuning. Brad used a baritone guitar with an extended neck to tune it that way. But what I was saying is I was trying to remember the physical album, and if I'm remembering correctly, did it have like a matte cover? Let's see. Because I feel like it was one of those like kind of paperish, but it had a matte cover instead of a hard case. It was like soft and... Man, those were good times, dude. Okay. Obviously, all along this journey, anything you want to add in the comments, please feel free to do so. I know that Genius doesn't always get it right, but thankfully we do have some comments from the booklet. But if there's any additional context you want to add or anything you want to correct, please feel free to do so. We're all here to learn. All right, let's move into track 3, Somewhere I Belong. Definitely remember this one. So good.
When this began, I had nothing to say, and I'd get lost in the nothingness inside of me. I was confused, and I let it all out to find that I'm not the only person with these things in mind. But all the vacancy the words revealed is the only real thing that I've got left to feel. Just stuck, hollow and alone, and the fault is my own, and the fault is my own. I wanna heal, I wanna feel what I thought was never real. I wanna let go of the pain I felt so long. Erase all the pain till it's gone. I wanna heal, I wanna feel like I'm close to something real. I wanna find something I wanted all along. Somewhere I belong. And I've got nothing to say. I can't believe I didn't fall right down on my face. I was confused, looking everywhere, only to find that it's not the way I had imagined it all in my mind. So what do I have but negativity? 'cause I can't justify the way everyone is looking at me. Nothing to lose, nothing to gain. Hollow and alone, and the fault is my own, and the fault is my own. I wanna heal, I wanna feel what I thought was never real. I wanna let go of the pain I felt so long. Erase all the pain till it's gone. I wanna heal, I wanna feel like I'm close to something real. I wanna find something I wanted all along. Somewhere I belong. I will never know myself until I do this on my own. And I will never feel anything else until my wounds are healed. I will never fade anything till I break away from me. I will break away. I'll find myself today. I wanna heal, I wanna feel what I thought was never real. I wanna let go of the pain I felt so long. Erase all the pain till it's gone. I wanna heal, I wanna feel like I'm close to something real. I wanna find something I wanted all along. Somewhere I belong. I wanna heal, I wanna feel like I'm somewhere I belong. I wanna heal, I wanna feel like I'm somewhere I belong. Somewhere I belong.
Oh man, that's a tough one, you know. Yeah, that's a tough one, you know. Obviously knowing that we lost Chester. Cuz in the lyrics it talks about breaking away from me, right? And that's the inner conflict. Those are the fears, the anxieties, the haunting, the things that haunt you and wanting to break away from you. Because even in this song, it's just this like admission. I'm not talking about everybody else right now. I'm talking about me. Like I gotta get away from me. I'm my own worst enemy right now. And it's interesting the somewhere I belong, because that can go through a number of things, right? Whether that's a friend group or a family, or even in your own self, feeling like you're in a self, a home that you belong and that you want to be in, a place of peace. This says, is often requested on modern rock radio, reached number 1 on several music charts. It came in at position 32 as of May 3rd, 2003, remained on the chart for 14 weeks. Although not their most popular song, fans everywhere would agree that the song is greatly appreciated for sentimental reasons. Given that the song describes the anguish, discomfort, anger, etc. many people feel on a daily basis, Linkin Park's ability to voice the words many have been unable to find serves as a medium of inspiration and support for many, mainly allowing people to know that they're not alone. Given the band's popularity and growth over the years, Linkin Park has been able to provide a unique home for fans everywhere, all of whom can relate to the lyrics they write. In the book, it says, originally, this started out as a sample of Chester playing acoustic guitar. Mike took the sample, replayed it, affected it, flipped it backwards, and cut it up into 4 pieces, creating the main sample of the song. By the time it was finished almost a year later, the band had rewritten most of the music around the sample. On another note, Mike and Chester wrote over 30 finished choruses for this song, each time scrapping the last one in search of something better. They ended up recording the final version 1 week after the rest of the album was finished in the studio where they were mixing. That's crazy. All right, got a music video. Your voice tells a truth that many relate to inexplicably. You are so much more than you ever knew, to so many more than you thought. Love and peace forever, Chester. You're so missed. Okay, I can't keep reading these. It's gonna make me really sad. All right. Track 4, I believe, is titled Lying From You. Here we go. Hey, if you're enjoying this video and you want access to hundreds of hours of additional content from dozens of artists, then check out my Patreon. That's where we host music videos, live performances, exclusive live streams, behind the scenes content, documentaries, and you get the ability to help vote on the albums we listen to here on the channel. Patreon is the best way to support this channel, and you can get access to the entire library, past, present, and future, for just $5. Join the amazing community that we're building over there, and I try to make it worth your time and your money. All right, let's get back into it. Okay, I remember this intro. Oh, the bass.
Everything is what I want it to be. I look exactly like what you had always wanted to see. When I pretend, I can forget about the criminal I am. Stealing second after second just cause I know I can. But I can't pretend this is the way it'll stay. I'm just trying to bend the truth. I can't pretend I'm who you want me to be. So I'm lying my way from you. No turning back now. I wanna be pushed aside, so let me go. No turning back now. Let me take back my life. I'd rather be all alone. No turning back now. Anywhere on my own, cause I can say no turning back now. The very worst part of you is me. I remember what they taught to me. Remember condescending talk of who I ought to be. Remember listening to all of that and this again. So I pretended up a person who was fitting in. And now you think this person really is me. And I'm trying to bend the truth. The more I push, the more I'm pulling away. Cause I'm lying my way from you. No turning back now. I wanna be pushed aside, so let me go. No turning back now. Let me take back my life. I'd rather be all alone. No turning back now. Anywhere on my own, cause I can say no turning back now. The very worst part of you. The very worst part of you. Yes. This isn't what I wanted to be. I never thought that what I said would have you running from me like this. This isn't what I wanted to be. I never thought that what I said would have you running from me like this. This isn't what I wanted to be. I never thought that what I said would have you running from me like this. This isn't
Oh, I love how he's screaming on this.
what I said would have you running from me like this. No turning back now. I wanna be pushed aside, so let me go. No turning back now. Let me take back my life. I'd rather be all alone. No turning back now. Anywhere on my own, cause I can say no turning back now. The very worst part of you. The very worst part of you is me.
Oh, dude, that scream. Come on. That's got to be like a top scream. I don't know. I'm not very in on the scream scene. I like screams in music the way Linkin Park does it. I'm not a big fan of like non-stop screaming. I love it when it's accentuating things, or even, you know, you've got like a verse screaming. Good with me. I've never really gotten too much into just non-stop screaming in songs, but maybe you can change my mind. Yeah, I mean, the song seems to be this idea of like being someone you're not to fit in, and ultimately you're lying to yourself, you're lying to the other person. And it sounds like, because the very worst part of you is me. I don't know if he's speaking to himself there, if he's speaking to the other person, that he's like, I need to distance myself because I'm not who you think I am. I don't even know if I know who I am anymore. and maybe recognizing because of that he's having a negative effect on the other person. But man, I can really relate to that to some extent. I think I talked about it in the other one, so I won't go too deep into it. But I felt much like a chameleon when I was a teenager, but it was because I had a wide interest, or I had wide interests, which I still do, which is why I can find kind of friendship and fit in really in any group that I want to, because I can be truly interested in whatever anybody else might be interested in. But because I didn't have a good sense of self and who I was changing who I was to fit into those different places, which ultimately led me to some pretty negative places, into some groups that I didn't really need to be involved with. It was later in life that I'm, 17, 18 years old when I really discovered who I was. And then I could be interested in other things without it changing the core of who I was as a person. Powerful track from Linkin Park's second album. Okay, song features the band's signature blend of nu metal and rap. Chester's intense vocals complementing Mike's rap verses. Mike explained the meaning behind the song in a 2003 interview. Lying from you is about pushing someone away. The title means making up lies to make another person angry so they don't want to be around you. Just something that some people do subconsciously in relationship. That's interesting. Because it may even be like that the person, because I think some people can do this, it's almost like self-destructing a good thing. Because obviously it could be a negative thing, but it could also be in a relationship that could be positive, but maybe because of trust issues, or it just becomes this habit that you do, you want to push people away, and the only way to push them away is to do something that repels them, right? From a production standpoint, the song features several interesting elements that showcase the band's attention to detail. The track includes a continuous keyboard sample throughout, incorporates a sample of a car performing a burnout. Okay, I didn't pick up on that, adding to its industrial and mechanical feel. These production choices enhance the song's themes of inner friction and conflict. It was also one of 7 Linkin Park tracks chosen for Collision Course, which we will listen to. I've been trying to do Jay-Z, but he does not, or the label does not like their songs on YouTube. So I did the debut album from Jay-Z. It was up for a little while and then it got taken down. It is over on Patreon, but I'm going to try to do a few other Jay-Z albums, because we got up to My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy with Kanye. Then I was doing a few Jay-Z albums, especially the ones that Kanye helped on. So the Blueprint and the Black album. Then I was going to do Watch the Throne and then move on to Yeezus. But it all kind of bring us, for lack of a better term, to a collision course with being in Linkin Park as well. That I'll probably continue trying to do Jay-Z and just putting it up on Patreon. And then moving on to Yeezus. But it's kind of fun because it's all just coming together without me fully meaning to. Okay, they mashed it up with Dirt Off Your Shoulder. So from an interview with Mike, lying from you is about pushing someone away. Okay, we read part of that. That's not what my part of the song is about, but I know that in a broader sense, when people start feeling negative feelings towards somebody else, just naturally they start doing things to make that person not want to be around them. It's a subliminal reaction. That works with friends, that works with relationships. Either way, people do that. Somebody said, something I always notice about this song, the lines, I can't pretend this is the way it'll stay, but the more I push, the more I'm pulling away rhyme, as well as, and now you think this person really is me, and I can't pretend I'm who you want me to be. Somebody says they see it as 2 alter egos talking to each other. That's interesting. If you don't struggle with depression, you wouldn't really understand the true underlying meaning of the song. With Chester's death, it hurts just that much more. Someone struggling, to me, the whole song is the real Chester telling his mind the depression to go away. Now you think this person really is me. Here's something else that was in the booklet. Mike and Joe's studio equipment was installed in the back of a tour bus during the summer of 2001. they put it to good use. Mike came up with the intro sample and chorus music for this song during an overnight bus drive during Ozfest. Trying to record guitar on a moving bus can be very sloppy. But months later in the studio at NRG, everything got cleaned up, replayed, and put together right. They were on their grind. All right, track 5, which is titled Hit the Floor. I don't really remember this one.
There are just too many times that people have tried to look inside of me, wondering what I think of you when I protect you out of
I love that sound, dude.
times that I've held on when I needed to push away, afraid to say what was on my mind, afraid to say what I need to say. Too many things that you said about me when I'm not around. You think having the upper hand means you gotta keep putting me down, but I've had too many standoffs with you.
Is that the bass with like some distortion and stuff on it?
1 minute you're on top, the next you're not. Watch it drop, making the rock stop just before you hit the floor. 1 minute you're on top, the next you're not. Missed your shot, making the rock stop. You think you won, and then it's all gone. So many people like me put so much trust in all your lies, so concerned with what you think to just say what we feel inside. So many people like me walk on eggshells all day long. All I know is
Dude, that riff goes so hard.
there are so many things you say that make me feel you cross the line. What goes up will surely fall, and I'm counting down the time. Cause I've had so many standoffs with you, it's about as much as I can stand, so I'm waiting until the upper hand is mine. 1 minute you're on top, the next you're not. Watch it drop, making the rock stop just before you hit the floor. 1 minute you're on top, the next you're not. Missed your shot, making the rock stop. You think you won, and then it's all gone. 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 Now it's all gone. I know I'll never trust a single thing you say. You knew your
Love this, moving into like a whisper.
anyway. And all the lies have got you floating up above us all. But what goes up has got to fall. 1 minute you're on top, the next you're not. Watch it drop, making the rock stop just before you hit the floor. 1 minute you're on top, the next you're not. Missed your shot, making the rock stop. You think you won, and then it's all gone. 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 Now it's all gone.
It sounds like the whole album has some even though it comes to like like it came to an end, but it does have a little thing that carries through into the next track. So it looks like it's all throughout the album. Oh my gosh, dude. So I'm curious if that was the bass that was doing that riff. I love that they kept it as a through line through the entire song. It was so good, like up in the forefront and then in the back. And also just the dynamics of them choosing, you know, there were times when they were singing and then it's all gone and Chester was screaming gone. And then they come to a line as kind of a transition to the next part and he doesn't scream on it. And then at the close, when they do it a number of times, they're singing it together and then he comes in screaming. And those are just great choices, right? To keep the thing, especially Mike going into kind of a whisper and then boom, hard into the chorus. Those are the things that just make it interesting, right? Just keeping this variation. They're so good at that throughout because it can come across just so overpowering. But I feel like all those little things make it so interesting. Okay, more rhythmically aggressive tracks, blending Linkin Park's signature intensity with hip-hop inspired backbone. The lyrics confront themes of power imbalances and emotional manipulation, with Mike and Chester trading visceral lines about resisting exploitation. Lines like, "So many people like me walk on eggshells all day long. All I know is that all I want is to feel like I'm not stepped on," crystallize the track's focus on systemic distrust and the psychological toll of hierarchical abuse. The track's production showcases the band's meticulous attention to rhythmic experimentation. Shinoda explained, "When you're writing a big rock chorus, you come in on the one count. The interesting thing about this song is that it comes on the and after the one. It's a syncopated start almost." That's fun. So, in counting 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So he's saying instead of coming in on the one, it's 1 and they come in. Its deliberate offbeat structure paired with Rob Burden's punchy drum patterns and Brad Delson's distorted guitar riffs. So, okay, it must have been the guitar riffs then, not a bass. Creates a tension that mirrors the lyrical frustration. In the booklet, the band wanted to make a heavy song with a hip-hop bounce. This is what came out. Mike and Chester tried numerous singing-style choruses, but when Chester brought the screaming hook into the studio, everyone knew it was going to work. The hardest work in creating this song was in the minor details, tightening the lyrics and capturing the performances Rook days to finish. Performances, maybe hook? I don't know. Maybe took days to finish. Dope. Song is a banger, by the way. One of the best Linkin Park songs. But what goes up has to fall. Hell yeah, it does. Been grieving over many things in my teenage years while listening to this song and trying to swallow my fears for the future. The said future is now, and I still grieve over all those fears that came true while listening to this song. Try to get lost between those lines. Can't even focus on anything else when I'm angry and feeling the hopelessness, but these songs from Linkin Park. Thanks for the legacy. Still slaps. Yes, it does. Oh, one thing I did want to look at real quick is where the title Meteora comes from. So Linkin Park named their sophomore album Meteora after the stunning rock formations and cliff-top monasteries in Greece. The band chose the name to represent an epic, powerful, and cinematic sound, as well as an otherworldly energy they wanted to project on the record. So the real-life Meteora in Greece features ancient monasteries perched perilously atop soaring, inaccessible sandstone pillars. The word itself translates roughly to suspended in the air, which perfectly mirrored the band's artistic vision of music floating between the earth and the heavens. Well, that's awesome. Let's take a look at Meteora in Greece. Shut up, dude. Look at this. That's wild. I've never seen this. Absolutely stunning. That's a crazy picture. Oh man, let me know in the comments if that's your first time seeing that. Oh, it's so cool. What if they did a concert there? That would be awesome. Okay. Let's go to track 6. This is Easier to Run. Calming down a little.
It's easier so deep they never show, they never go away. Like moving pictures in my head, for years and years they've played.
If I could change, I would. Take back the pain, I would. Retrace every wrong move that I made, I would. If I could stand up and take the blame, I would. If I could take all the shame to the grave, I would. If I could change, I would. Take back the pain, I would. Retrace every wrong move that I made, I would. If I could stand up and take the blame, I would. I would take all my shame to the grave.
It's easier to replacing this pain with something more.
Wow.
It's so much easier to go than face all this pain. You're all alone. Sometimes I remember the darkness of my past, bringing back these memories I wish I didn't have. Sometimes I think of letting go and never looking back, and never moving forward so there'd never be a path.
If I could change, I would. Take back the pain, I would. Retrace every wrong move that I made, I would. If I could stand up and take the blame, I would. If I could take all the shame to the grave, I would. If I could change, I would. Take back the pain, I would. Retrace every wrong move that I made, I would. If I could stand up and take the blame, I would. I would take all my shame to the grave.
Just washing it aside, all of the helplessness inside, pretending I don't feel misplaced is so much simpler than change. It's easier to run, replacing this pain with something more. It's so much easier to go than face all this pain. You're all alone. It's easier to run.
If I could change, I would. Take back the pain, I would. Retrace every wrong move that I made.
It's easier to go.
If I could change, I would. Take back the pain, I would. Retrace every wrong move that I made, I would. If I could stand up and take the blame, I would. I would take all my shame to the grave.
What a beautiful song, man. And especially after just looking up where the title comes from and this idea of between earth and the heavens. That's him coming in on the chorus and everything, and just it ascends to this place. Man, and obviously the theme of the song, this like not necessarily wanting to or not knowing how to face some of the pain of the past, and just feeling like it's easier to run, it's easier to try to just wash it away than to change or to face the pain. This stands as one of the more introspective tracks. The song explores themes of escapism and the human tendency to run from personal problems rather than confronting them. With its mellower approach compared to some of the more aggressive tracks on the album, the song showcases the band's versatility while maintaining their signature emotional intensity. The song features a guitar intro with harmonics reminiscent of Pushing Me Away from their debut album, creating a musical connection between the two records. What's particularly notable about this track is Rob Burton's complex drumming, which Shinoda praised. In the next song, Easier to Run, Rob is just killing the drums. It's my favorite song that he's done. You listen to the song, you enjoy the song or whatever, but if you listen back and just listen to the drums, which I will do, he's playing some very complex stuff. A drummer who's only got a couple of years under their belt is not going to be able to play that song. I'm really happy for Rob on that song. I think he pulled it off. The emotional weight of the song comes from its exploration of painful memories, the desire to escape them. Lines such as bringing back these memories I wish I didn't have, and sometimes I think of letting go, never looking back, never moving forward, so there'd never be a past, encapsulate the internal struggle that defines the track. Music scholar Aaron Krerowitz has noted how the song's musical structure reinforces its emotional impact, pointing out that the mode mixture packs a visceral punch at the onset of each chorus, which compellingly conveys the emotional trauma of the lyrics. Unlike many tracks on Meteora, where Shinoda's rapping takes center stage in the verses, with Chester handling the chorus, Easier to Run gives Biddington more prominence throughout, with Shinoda providing background vocals. This shift in vocal approach helps emphasize the song's more introspective, vulnerable nature, differentiating it from some of the album's more aggressive offerings. And then in the booklet it said, Rob's playing on this song is extraordinary. He found a way to make this complex drum pattern sound easy and tasteful. Plus, he recorded in only a few takes. On another note, the verse lyrics emerged from a free writing exercise performed by Chester. He wrote them to no music, no beat. Mike and Don liked them a lot, and the three guys decided that this was the song to work them into. That's cool. Also, just that they experimented with different ways of writing. Most underrated song in Meteora. It's a standout for me. Always getting the heaviest chills at the Just Washing It Aside part. Gotta love the song for its honesty and realness. Beautiful. All right, this is track 7, titled Faint. I remember this intro.
A little bit of disregard, handful of complaints, but I can't help the fact that everyone can see these scars. What I want you to want, what I want you to feel, but it's like no matter what I do, I can't convince you to just believe this is real. So let go, watching you turn your back like you always do. Face away and pretend that I'm not, but I'll be here 'cause you're all that I got. I can't feel the way I did before. Don't turn your back on me. I won't be ignored. Time won't change this damage anymore. Don't turn your back on me. I won't be ignored. A little bit insecure, a little unconfident, 'cause you don't understand to do what I can, but sometimes I don't make sense. What you never want to say, but I've never had a doubt. It's like no matter what I do, I can't convince you for once just to hear me out. So let go, watching you turn your back like you always do. Face away and pretend that I'm not, but I'll be here 'cause you're all that I got. I can't feel the way I did before. Don't turn your back on me. I won't be ignored. Time won't change this damage anymore. Don't turn your back on me. I won't be ignored. No, hear me out now. You're gonna listen to me like it or not. Right now, hear me out now. You're gonna listen to me like it or not. Right now. I can't feel the way I did before. Don't turn your back on me. I won't be ignored. I can't feel the way I did before. Don't turn your back on me. I won't be ignored. Time won't change this damage anymore. Don't turn your back on me. I won't be ignored. I can't feel. Don't turn your back on me. I won't be ignored. Time won't change. Don't turn your back on me. I won't be ignored.
Dude, when it really hits that crescendo and when he says, you're gonna listen to me like it or not, I think is what he said, but that's when he was just screaming at the loudest, the most intense. Yeah, no, hear me out now. You're gonna listen to me, like it or not. And it's so smart of them in that section to be like the most intense part of the song and him yelling at his highest, because he is saying like, you're going to hear me. I'm curious about kind of the inspiration behind like who they're speaking to. But it does sound like somebody that's maybe just been overlooked, hasn't been listened to, and they've kind of reached their boiling point, and is like, you're going to hear me now. Okay, let's see. Song's instantly recognizable string-driven intro, powerful delivery made it a fan favorite. With its blistering pace and emotional intensity, the creation of Faint began with guitarist Brad Delson bringing in the initial guitar part during Ozfest, originally intending it to be played at around 70 BPM. However, when Mike and Brad were working on the drum tracks, Shinoda had a different vision. In a 2003 interview, Shinoda explained, Brad actually brought that guitar part in, originally thinking it would be 70 beats per minute, or somewhere in that vicinity, I think. I'm not sure about the exact number. He played it to a click during Ozfest and he came back. He and I had done the drum tracks to 140 beats per minute. Boom, boom, ka chicka chicka boom, ka chicka boom, boom, ka chicka chicka boom, ka. First he argued with me, told me it wasn't supposed to be that. Then I told him, I know what you intended, but I think this works. He listened to it and he totally changed his mind. That's nice. The lyrics express feelings of alienation and frustration with lines like I am a little bit of loneliness, a little bit of disregard. The powerful refrain, don't turn your back on me, I won't be ignored. These themes of being unheard, fighting for recognition resonated deeply with fans, capturing the universal struggle to be seen and acknowledged. Okay, they did that one on Collision Course as well. Crazy. So from the booklet, Brad came into the studio bus where Mike was working to record a new idea. Brad recorded scratch guitar track for Faint over a click track, no drums, no music, expecting the tempo to be about 70. He returned to the bus a couple of days later, and Mike had put together the beat at 135, almost twice as fast. After careful deliberation, Brad and Mike decided the faster beat was more fun. One of the most beautiful songs by Linkin Park. Scream is perfect. Song is art. I won't be ignored. He could sing like an angel and scream like a demon. Yeah, and one of the things I love about Linkin Park's writing is they don't waste any words, man. And I think I said this in the other one, is like there's enough content there to really like dig into and think about, and it could point to so many different scenarios, but it's also, you can really take it at face value and understand what is clearly being communicated. And I really love that, man. It's very accessible writing, but still being, I don't want to necessarily use the word deep, but it is, you know, they're really deep thoughts and complicated ideas, but put so succinctly. All right, track 8. This is figure 9, figure .09. The atmosphere on this album is so good.
Nothing ever stops all these thoughts and the pain attached to them. Sometimes I wonder why this is happening. It's like nothing I
And
can
these
do
guitar
to
riffs are so
I
good.
shot myself in the back again. Cause from the infinite words I can say, I put all the pain you gave to me on display, but didn't realize instead of setting it free, I took what I hated and made it a part of me. Never goes away. Never goes away. And now you become a part of me. You'll always be right here. You become a part of me. You'll always be my fear. I can't separate. when it started happening. I'd see you in every thought I had, and then the thoughts slowly found words attached to them. And I knew as they escaped away, I was committing myself to them. And every day I regret saying those things, cause now I see that I took what I hated and made it a part of me. Never goes away. Never goes away. And now you become a part of me. You'll always be right here. You become a part of me. You'll always be my fear. I can't separate myself from what I've done. Giving up a part of me. I've let myself become you. Never goes away. Never goes away. Never goes away.
Like we're reaching a fever pitch.
Get away from me. Give me my space back, you gotta just everything comes down to memories of I kept it in, but now I'm letting you I let you go, so get away from me. Give me my space back, you gotta just everything comes down to memories of I kept it in, but now I'm letting you I let you go. And now you become a part of me. You'll always be right here. You become a part of me. You'll always be my fear. I can't separate myself from what I've done. Giving up a part of me. I've let myself become you. I've let myself become you. I've let myself become lost inside these thoughts of you. Giving up a part of me. I've let myself become you.
Okay. I'm really curious about the title for this. Hopefully we'll get some insight into that. But man, it sounds like letting the negative part of somebody or an action that they did, and I might look up, I'm not very familiar on Chester's early life. From some comments I've seen and things, I think that he had abusive parents or an abusive father, or was even maybe sexually abused when he was younger. Just so tragic. But if you take the idea of some harm that somebody has done towards you physically, mentally, spiritually, in that you kind of almost can't escape it, and then you somehow let that stay with you and be a part of you, to where it almost sounds like the first part of it is like damaging you, that it's always a part of you. But maybe the other seems to be that there's also now you're kind of acting out in some of those same ways because of the way you've let it infect you. It's so interesting, man. There's so many different ways that you could go with this, because the reality is everything that we walk through and everything that happens to us is a part of us. Now, it doesn't mean it has to be a controlling part of us. It doesn't mean that it has to be something that haunts us. A lot of times those thoughts never fully just go away. You know, they come back up at different times and you have to fight them again. You have to surrender them again. But the reality is the people that we are our successes and our failures, our pain and our pleasure. And it's learning how to take all those different experiences and not allow them to keep you in a prison or change the person that you're wanting to become, which I think is why the idea of forgiveness is so central even in Christianity. And it's not ever the idea that's like what a person did is okay. And I've talked about this in other ones, like even when it comes to our children, my oldest is 15, but the way I feel like we've always handled the idea of asking for forgiveness or receiving forgiveness, especially if somebody, you know, let's just say somebody says something hurtful. And when we come together and talk it out, and we're like, you know, I think you owe an apology. And that person understands what they did and truly apologize, not just one of these like, sorry. It's like, no, hold on. What are you sorry for? And like, let's get to the point where we truly mean it. We truly see, okay, I understand. Yes, what I did there was not correct. And then when the apology is extended, you know, I think something natural in us, at least natural with, you know, our kids, would be them saying, it's okay. And we just got in the habit of saying, let's not say it's okay, because we're not saying it's okay. That thing that you did was hurtful and you should learn. And the hope is that you don't keep repeating that. So let's not say it's okay. Let's say I forgive you. Because then you're not saying, yes, that thing you did is okay. And you could take that obviously into much more hurtful things. And so I think even in that, though, the idea of forgiveness is not saying what you did is okay. I think if somebody does something illegal, they should go to jail. That's the consequence of your actions. If you're constantly hurtful to somebody with your words and that relationship comes to an end, it's on you, because it is the natural outflow, the ramifications of your actions. And if we never have consequences for our actions, we never learn. And so I'll wrap this up. But I think even the idea of forgiveness, it's not necessarily saying it's okay what you did, but it is saying I refuse to live in the prison of hatred and bitterness towards you. We might not talk anymore, and that's okay. Boundaries are fine. But it's almost like I release you. And in that way, you can almost release yourself of the prison of hatred toward that person, if that makes any sense. Okay, let's see here. This says, the track's aggressive instrumentation, marked by Brad Delson's grinding guitar riffs, Joe Hahn's turntable experimentation, mirrors its lyrical themes of identity erosion and toxic relationships. Chester Bennington's raw vocal delivery alternates between desperation and resignation, embodying the narrator's struggle to disentangle themselves from an abuser's influence. That's a beautiful way of saying that. The rap verses, a late addition during mixing, inject a controlled intensity that contrasts with Bennington's chaos. The song's creation involved significant evolution. Initially featuring sung verses during early studio sessions, the band reintroduced Shinoda's raps after producer Don Gilmore, suggested the change would heighten the track's dynamism. Okay. As Shinoda explained, I don't know why. If you're asking why we've changed the words to that track, the reason is always that we thought the new word, like we tried to beat, and if we chose this new version is because we thought that the new version is better as a group. The decision exemplifies Linkin Park's collaborative ethos, band members often reworking tracks until the final stages of production. The title itself originated from Shinoda's fascination with abstract terminology, inspired by a random phrase in an art book. That's cool. Live versions became notorious for their extended outros, where Bennington would improvise screamed lines like blood, anger, suffering, love, hate, fear, amplifying the song's thematic tension. These improvisations, as documented on Live in Texas, that's the one I'm talking about. We'll get to watch that now. Project Revolution 2004 recordings transformed the track into a cathartic release for audiences. Lyrically, the track goes into the aftermath of trauma bonding, with lines like, I've let myself become you, encapsulating the psychological merger between victim and abuser. This theme aligns with the album's broader examination of cyclical pain, as noted in The Making of Meteora. Is there a video called The Making of Meteora? Where the band described the track as a loud, confrontational reckoning with self-betrayal. Brad Delson later reflected on the demo process, humorously comparing early iterations to Figure 08, praising its One Step Closer-esque bounce in the 20th anniversary commentary. Okay, and then the booklet, the song originally had rapping in the verses, then was rewritten with singing verses during the process at NRG. The singing part remained until the recording process was finished. Then while mixing, Brad, Mike, Chester, and Don swapped the rap verses back in, deciding the rapping made the song more interesting. The rest of the band didn't hear the final version of the song until the entire album was complete. There are two sides to the song in my mind, somebody says. One being that it describes abuse, possibly as a child, the pain that this causes. The second being that the figure 9 in the title refers to an actual person. The song refers to them directly. I've let you go. He's afraid of someone who's so close to him. Some of the lyrics relate to depression, as the figure 9 being depression, or the person he is when he's depressed. Yeah, incredible song. Okay. Let's move into track 9. This is Breaking the Habit. Feels like a surfing song.
Memories consume, like opening the wounds. I'm picking me apart again. You all assume I'm safe here in my room, unless I try to start again. I don't want to be the one the battles always choose, 'cause inside I realize that I'm the one confused. I don't know what's worth fighting for, or why I have to scream. I don't know why I instigate and say what I don't mean. I don't know how I got this way. I know it's not alright, so I'm breaking the habits. I'm breaking the habits tonight. My cure, I tightly lock the door. I try to catch my breath again. I hurt much more than any time before. I had no options left again. I don't want to be the one the battles always choose, 'cause inside I realize that I'm the one confused. I don't know what's worth fighting for, or why I have to scream. I don't know why I instigate and say what I don't mean. I don't know how I got this way. I'll never be alright, so I'm breaking the habit. I'm breaking the habit tonight. I'll paint it on the walls, 'cause I'm the one at fault. I'll never fight again, and this is how it ends. I don't know what's worth fighting for, or why I had to scream, but now I have some clarity to show you what I mean. I don't know how I got this way. I'll never be alright, so I'm breaking the habit. I'm breaking the habit. I'm breaking the habit tonight.
I think I'm viewing this song through a totally different lens than I've ever thought before. Granted, I haven't thought about this song in 20 years. Is this song about suicide is what I'm trying to figure out, or is it about drugs or a substance, the idea of clutching the cure? One of Linkin Park's most emotionally intense songs, featuring a departure from their signature sound with strong electronic influences, live strings, notably no rap verses from Mike or distorted guitar riffs. It's the fifth and final single. The song's origin story contradicts common misconceptions about its creation. Mike began composing what would become Breaking the Habit before he even met Chester. The track was initially conceptualized as an instrumental piece, a demo titled Drawing. Shinoda revealed the transformation process in a 2023 interview. Had this demo that was intended to be an electronic instrumental track, like the Meteora version of Cure for the Itch. A few guys said, but Joe Hahn in particular said, I think this song needs vocals. It's going to be a good song. Could be a good song. Common misconception surrounds the meaning behind Breaking the Habit. Many fans assumed it was written specifically about Chester's struggles with substance abuse. However, Shinoda clarified, people actually mistake this as a song about addiction. It's actually not. It's more of a metaphor. The lyrics were intentionally crafted to be relatively ambiguous, allowing listeners to relate to them through their own personal struggles. Despite not being written specifically for Bennington, the song profoundly resonated with him. When Shinoda first showed the lyrics to Chester, he read them and teared up, relating to the words to a point where he had difficulty performing the song live for almost a year after the release of Meteora. This emotional connection made the song particularly difficult to revisit after Bennington's death. Beyond its musical impact, Breaking the Habit represents the powerful way Linkin Park connected with listeners struggling with their own personal demons. As described by trauma and mental health specialists, the song vividly explains the painful feelings and internal monologues of someone struggling with addiction and self-harm, highlighting how the internal struggles, further compounded by isolation, shame, and self-worth issues, can tragically end in suicide. This profound emotional resonance helps explain why the song remains so meaningful to fans years after its release. This from the booklet says Mike's been trying to write a song around this lyrical idea for over 5 years. He tried this theme a number of times, but nothing seemed to do the song justice. Unexpectedly, Brad and Joe suggested that Mike turn the 2-minute interlude into a full song, tentatively titled Drawing. The piece was extended to 3 minutes, 16 seconds when Mike took it home to write the lyrics. In less than 2 hours, the lyrics that he had been trying to put together for years fell into place. With some finishing touches, live piano, and white strings, the song was finally complete 6 years in the making. Somebody says, I've always looked at this song as somewhat of a story about trying to fight the addiction of cutting because I've been in that situation. Just in general, the song is powerful no matter how you look at it. This is tough, but I'll read it. I personally am a cutter, and there's a lot of times where I want to do it so badly I can't resist it, and I break down if I can't. That was a while back, but now I have some bad anger issues where the hate is either directed at me or directed at someone else. Either way, it always ricochets back to me because I feel guilty for being so angry at someone else. I start beating down on myself for it. I'm always paranoid someone will call me out, so sometimes I go into the bathroom and shut and lock the door tightly. No matter how much I tell myself I can and will stop, I always give in. There's times I get so angry, I want to cut deeply, and there's times where I just want to die and give up completely. Sorry if this comment bothered anyone at all. It's just my personal experience. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, I mean, I think I used to always think about this song through the idea of like finally confronting the thing. Like I'm choosing to break the habit. I'm choosing to break the cycle. This is the first time that I've really like, seen it the way that I saw it, and the kind of subtleties within the lyrics and the progression, kind of going in your room, clutching the Cure, painting it on the walls. Man, that's a heavy one. All right. Track 10, this is titled From the Inside.
surprise.
Everyone feels so far away from me.
Heavy thoughts sift through dust and the lies.
Trying not to break, but I'm so tired of this deceit. Every time I try to make myself get back up on my feet, all I ever think about is this. All the tiring time between and how trying to put my trust in you just takes so much out of me.
Take everything from the inside and throw it all away. 'Cause I swear for the last time I won't trust myself with you. Tension is building inside steadily.
Everyone feels so far away from me.
Heavy thoughts forcing their way out of me.
Trying not to break, but I'm so tired of this deceit. Every time I try to make myself get back up on my feet, all I ever think about is this. All the tiring time between and how trying to put my trust in you just takes so much out of me.
Take everything from the inside and throw it all away. 'Cause I swear for the last time I won't trust myself with you. I won't waste myself on you. You. Waste myself on you. I'll take everything from the inside and throw it all away. 'Cause I swear for the last time I won't trust myself with you. Everything from the inside and just throw it all away. 'Cause I swear for the last time I won't trust myself with you.
There toward the end of the song, I was trying to look for a book. I don't know if I held on to it or I may have given it away, but I believe it was just called Boundaries. One second. Yeah, I don't see it. It's probably up there somewhere. It's a really good book, though, that helps define, when and how to set some healthy boundaries in our lives. And that's kind of the reality of this song as well. This idea, I won't trust myself with you. It's almost like if you were to say to a person, or say about a person, like, I wouldn't trust my kids with that person. Even taking that a step further, it's like, I'm not going to trust myself with you, because every time I put myself in your hands, you mistreat me. And so learning in life when and how to set boundaries in place against people that aren't trying to contribute positively to you, to your life. This says, hard-hitting Linkin Park track that channels frustration and emotional struggle. Appears as the 10th song. The song's origins can be traced back to bassist Phoenix, who developed the initial guitar idea while recording with Mike in the back of their tour bus during summer 2002. Mike said, from the inside started with an idea that Phoenix had on guitar. For the musicians out there, our songs are all in 4/4 time. That goes for the songs that we've released in the past anyway. I've tried a few things in 3/4, 6/8, or 7/8. Phoenix wanted to do a song in 6/8 really badly, and he put it together in a way that was obviously going to work for us. We heard it, and we knew that it was going to work. The band faced significant challenges while completing the song. According to the booklet, when it came time to complete the song, the band ran into a challenge. Chester got sick. Excuse me. Unable to sing during his last week of scheduled recording, Chester was forced to finish his parts in New York during the start of the mixing process. Down to the wire, the band was left with little margin for error. Fortunately, this song and Somewhere I Belong were written successfully on the third floor of Soundtrack Studios, NYC. Musically, From the Inside stands out for its 6/8 time signature, which created what the band called an opportunity to juxtapose seemingly disparate rhythms most apparent in the verses. Guitarist Brad played a crucial role in transforming the song before reaching its final form. The song existed as a demo titled Shifter. Brad later reflected on the early version. When Phoenix reemerged as HT was taking off, he brought with him stability, the natural, powerful feel we needed on bass, and of course, incredible good looks. While he originally helped shape this song on guitar, the bass line expresses melodic urgency, which grounds the song and propels it forward, key elements in FDI's final form. The lyrics explore themes of distrust, betrayal, emotional exhaustion, lines like "I don't know who to trust, no surprise, everyone feels so far away from me, trying to not to break, but I'm so tired of this deceit," convey a profound sense of isolation and weariness. Chorus's declaration, "to take everything from the inside and throw it all away," represents a desperate attempt to purge the emotional damage inflicted by broken trust. Became a staple in Linkin Park's live sets since its debut at the first show of the Meteora touring cycle in Milano, Italy. Throughout its performance history, the song evolved with various intros and placements in the band's set, demonstrating its enduring popularity. So I've been listening since I was 10. Now I'm 27 and a husband, a father to 2 little metal kids. Been in hard time, depression, but thankfully I survived. But I never know. Will I survive for another time? Something we cannot have but cannot keep. God bless Linkin Park and all of us. All right. Let's move into track 11. This is titled Nobody's Listening.
Yo, peep the style and the kids checking for it. The number one question is how could you ignore it? We drop right back in the cut over basement tracks with raps that got you backing us up like rewind that. We're just rolling with the rhythm, rise from the ashes of stylistic division. With these non-stop lyrics of life living, not to be forgotten.
This has to be Mike's idea.
But in the meantime, there are those who want to talk this and that. So I suppose that it gets to a point where feelings gotta get hurt and get dirty with the people spreading the dirt. It goes.
You warning, but everyone ignores me.
Told you everything loud and clear,
But nobody's listening. Called to you so clearly, but you don't want to hear.
Such an interesting sound.
everything loud and clear.
But nobody's listening.
I got a heart full of pain, head full of stress, hand full of anger held in my chest, and everything left's a waste of time. I hate my rhymes, but hate everyone else's more. I'm riding on the back of this pressure, guessing that it's better. I can't keep myself together because all of this stress gave me something to ride on. The pain gave me something I can set my sights on. You never forget the blood, sweat, and tears, the uphill struggle over years, the fear and trash talking, and the people it was to, and the people that started it just like you.
Try to give you warning, but everyone ignores me.
Told you everything loud and clear,
But nobody's listening. Called to you so clearly, but you don't want to hear me.
told you everything loud and clear.
But nobody's listening.
I got a heart full of pain, head full of stress, hand full of anger held in my chest. Uphill struggle, blood, sweat, and tears. Nothing to gain, everything to fear. Heart full of pain, head full of stress, hand full of anger held in my chest. Uphill struggle, blood, sweat, and tears. Nothing to gain, everything to fear. Heart full of pain, heart full of pain.
It's definitely the most hip hop
Try to give you
track that they've done.
everyone ignores
Okay. Yeah, like I said, that's kind of seems like the most hip hop track that I've heard from them yet. It has a little bit of that braggadocious in it, that the idea like the hunger, the thirst, the fuel. I love how he says, I hate my rhymes or my raps, but I hate everyone else's more. It's kind of that idea of being critical of your own writing, but it, in a way, it's like also saying that I think mine are better than yours. So it was a really cool switch up in this album to hear something like that. All right, let's see. This says, Nobody's Listening. Okay, hip-hop centered vibe, distinctive Japanese flute loop. During the album's creation, the song was initially titled Nocturnal. The track represents one of the band's efforts to elevate their sample-based sounds to new heights while facing the challenge of creating cohesion among diverse sonic elements. According to the liner notes, one of the band's many goals in writing Meteora was to take their sample sounds to the next level. However, in creating more interesting samples, a new challenge arose: to make the wide variety of sample-based elements feel like they belong together. At first, this song's Japanese flute loop created a mood that was far different from any other on which the band was working, made the track feel too distant from the rest of the album. Mike and Chester decided that the singing vocals would have to somehow connect the song to the rest of the recordings. The following day, Chester's performance gave this seemingly incongruent song balance, transforming it into an essential track on the album. Yeah, it's incredible. Mike elaborated on the creation. Nobody's Listening is a more hip-hop style track. Beats and samples are the backbone of the song, and of course, as always, we make our own stuff. When I use the word sample, I don't mean that we're lifting it off somebody else's thing. We always create our own thing and loop that, because to me it just feels more genuine. I can have more pride in a part that I wrote than a part that I lifted off somebody else's thing. We made this interesting thing off of a Japanese flute with different Japanese flute sounds. It's actually keyboard and some other breathy sounds that we used. Some piano, some drum stuff, but it was most keyboard. It's like a real deal hip-hop track. That's funny. Felt that 100%. The song's lyrics explore themes of frustration over being ignored despite efforts to communicate clearly, with lines like, tried to give you warning, but everyone ignores me. Told you everything loud and clear, but nobody's listening, forming the powerful chorus. Mike's verses express anger and determination born from struggle, establishing a narrative about perseverance despite facing obstacles. While fan reception has been mixed, with some people rating it as the weakest track on Meteora, others appreciate its unique sound and give it high ratings. I fall in that camp. I just love them stretching themselves, man. Very cool. All right, it looks like this next one is maybe an instrumental. Similar. I wonder if that becomes a staple on each album. But this is track 12, titled Session. Really are wizards, man. really carried over from the previous track as well, with some of these kind of Asian sounds. It almost sounds like the bowls, the singing bowls. You got some chimes in there. Let's let it roll into the final track from the album, and then we do also have a bonus track, but let's just let it roll into the close. See how they choose to close this project out. Oh yeah, I know this one. Such a beautiful song.
Every step that I take is another mistake to you. Just caught in the undertow. And every second I waste is more than I can take. I've become so numb, I can't feel you there. Become so tired, so much more aware. I'm becoming this. All I want to do is be more like and be less like you. And I know I may end up failing too, but I know you were just like me, with someone disappointed in you. I've become so numb, I can't feel you there. Become so tired, so much more aware. I'm becoming this. All I want to do is be more like me and be less like you. I've become so numb, I can't feel you there. Tired of being what you want me to be. I've become so numb, I can't feel you there. Tired of being what you want me to
So like I said, we do have a bonus track we'll play in just a moment, and that will be track 14, Step Up Live. Oh man, what a wonderful closer to this album. Yeah, as soon as it started, I was like, oh, okay, I know that one. And it's, you know, it really seems to speak to this idea of no matter how hard you try, not being able to live up to somebody else's expectations. And they speak to that cycle that often happens, because he says, you were just like me, with someone disappointed in you. And now instead of, because here's the goal, is at some point we break the cycles. And that's something my wife and I have been very intentional about in how we're leading our family and what we want our future to be and our legacy to be, what we want to pass on to our children, how we want to be as grandparents. And there's this Bible verse that comes to mind. Let me look it up just so I don't get it wrong. The way I remember it is, don't exasperate your children unto wrath. Let me pull it up just so we can see it clearly. Okay, so it begins with the word fathers. It's Ephesians 6, verse 4. Fathers, do not provoke your children to anger, but bring them up in the discipline and instruction of the Lord. Other versions say, do not exasperate your children unto wrath. And the way I always took that, and it can be so hard, and I don't know at what stage it can be harder. Probably when I would say probably around the teenage years, maybe 10 and on or so, especially as they are gaining more agency of themselves. And you're in that tension space between controlling and letting go. Because when they're little, and I heard somebody say this one time, that when kids are little, you steward their hands. Don't touch this, don't grab that, that's hot, don't go there. But as they grow older, you steward their hearts. It's not so much, you can't control them so much. The whole point is that over the years, you've been developing and pouring into, and through discipline and through love, guiding, helping, shape an outlook so that hopefully they can carry forward and do something positive. But then you get in this place where you are almost taking this role as a coach in a way. And so the whole point is you can find so many things, because they're young and they're learning. So you could all day long just be very controlling. Don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. And you still have to find that place. Like your job is to recognize things and be like, and find the right time and place. Be like, hey, so I kind of want to talk to you about this thing. Or if it's in the moment. But if you're not choosing your battles, it just can feel like just beating someone over the top of the head over and over and over and over. In that way, they kind of become numb to it. And so it's choosing what to let go, and then what does need your attention. And if you make a big deal about everything, then nothing is a big deal. And that's a challenge as a parent, because you want them to walk in a way that's wise, but you can't do that with every little tiny thing, or else it can create that feeling of like them just becoming numb to anything that you're saying, and they feel like they can never, ever do anything right. And so with your discipline is also a whole heck of a lot of love, explaining things, taking the time to help them truly understand, not just blowing up and saying something dumb yourself and just moving on with it. Like your words carry weight. And that's the harder part of parenting is taking the time to truly have the conversations and help them understand. But you don't want to get to a place and you can take this into management as well, right? To where you're just constantly berating and they never, ever feel like they can do anything right. Let's look back at Session first, and then we'll go look at the previous song. Distinct instrumental piece. Unlike most Linkin Park songs, contains no lyrics, instead focusing on Johan's impressive sampling and scratching skills. Composition presents a complex arrangement against a more subdued introduction before building an intense layered soundscape. Received critical recognition beyond the fan base when it was nominated for Best Rock Instrumental Performance at the 46 Grammy Awards. That's cool. This marked a significant moment for the band as it was their only Grammy nomination that year, highlighting the track's standout production. Reflecting on the nomination, Chester expressed mixed feelings in an interview. think there are certain songs that definitely exceed the quality of even Crawling, and to not even be nominated for a track that was an album track. I mean, it was an instrumental, like an interlude. Personally, I'm kind of insulted. I think I'd rather be not nominated for anything than to be nominated for a track that's not even a band track. Definitely was thrown off a little bit, but who cares really? Despite the band's ambivalence, the Grammy nod remains a testament to the song's impact and respect it garnered from the wider music industry. The booklet, Mike created the majority of this instrumental in the back of the bus in Pro Tools recording software. Felt unfinished for over a year until Brad, Phoenix, and Joe put their touches on it in the studio at NRG. Months later, the band and mixer Andy Wallace added a new dynamic to the song with quick panning accents in the turntable solo, most notable when wearing headphones. Oh yeah, for sure. Could hear it really distinct in the beginning. All right, as far as Numb goes, it's not only one of Linkin Park's most recognizable and emotionally charged tracks, but also one of the most commercially successful. Written just a week before the band entered the studio, the song quickly became a defining moment for Linkin Park, both musically and emotionally. Frontman Chester channeled his own turbulent youth and struggles into the performance, delivering a vocal that captured feelings of exhaustion, alienation, the desire to break free from others' expectations. It's very recognizable as our sound, Mike explained in a 2003 interview. I think it was a nice way to end the album because it kind of sums up the record. It's very recognizable as our sound. Sounds like a Linkin Park song, but it does have some mood that Meteora has, if that makes any sense. 100%, dude. I felt mood all through Meteora. Maybe I can say that better. When you hear it, you can easily recognize a Linkin Park song, but it obviously belongs in Meteora. It obviously belongs in this new group of songs just because of the way the tone of the song is and the lyrics are. The lyrics of Numb resonated deeply with listeners, especially those who felt trapped by the expectations of parents or authority figures. The song tells the story of someone who feels unable to live up to those expectations, would rather forge their own path. A theme that made it an anthem for a generation struggling with identity and pressure. The music video, filmed in Prague, visually amplifies the song's message. I'll wait till I see it. I don't want to spoil it. Okay. 1 billion streams on Spotify. It's achieved significant chart success internationally. After his passing in 2017, Numb took on even greater significance for fans in the band. Jay-Z reflected on Bennington's struggle, saying, I really think that hopefully his death serves as a wake-up call. Mental health is a real thing. You never know that people are going through, and you think that because they're performers and he sold millions of records, that doesn't equate to happiness. A lot of people, we don't deal with what's happening to us. We just keep going. Especially for a performer like that, you just start numbing yourself. You become numb. He's singing it. He's telling you, you become numb. Hopefully his death wakes a lot of people up and a lot of people start taking care of themselves. This song is the teenage anthem of becoming yourself and not being like your parents, or else they'll nickname you Mama's Boy. Well, what if your parents are good? What if you want to be like your parents? That world exists too. It's the story of me and my parents. Chester, we love your songs. Your song pushed and helped me while I was depressed in my early stages of being a teenager. Thank you very much. Somebody said, hello, I like this song. Okay, hello. Good. Okay, let's check out this bonus track. There is a 15th one. It's just a live version of Somewhere I Belong, which I'll be listening to some live things and stuff over on Patreon. So we're just going to play this track 14. Step Up live.
All right, you guys, we'll give you one more shot. You ready? Who can rock a rhyme like this? Bring it to you every time like this. Who can rock a rhyme like this? Step, step up, step, step up. San Diego, you guys are ready.
Watch as the road rocks, manly moonwalk, mixed media slangs banging in your boombox. Verbal violence, lyrical stylist in a time.
It's very hip hop too.
Rhymes are childish. You can't tell me we're rhyming an empty. Rapping to a beat doesn't make you an MC. Lacking skills and facility, you're killing me. With a DJ in your group, just some credibility. I heard it sound like you were getting help with your rhymes. You're not an MC if someone else writes your lines. Rapping over rock doesn't make you a pioneer. Cause rock and hip hop are collaborating for years. Now they're getting randomly mixed and mashed up. All after a fast buck. All the tracks suck, so how does it stack up? None of it's real. You wanna be an MC, you gotta study this skill. Come on, who can rock around like this? Bring it to me every time like this. Who can rock around like this? Step, step up, step, step up. So you pick up a pen, write yourself a new identity. But mentally you don't have the hip-hop energy. With the tendency to make up stories. Acting like the only...
They had some strong hip-hop roots, man. Some real classy stuff.
So in the battle you can't hack and react and wax shit. Get smacked for verbal backflips. Get your ass kicked for fabulous battle catalyst. It's taken decades for MCs to establish this. You're new to hip-hop, you're welcome if you're serious. But not on the mic, leave that to the experience. San Diego, make some noise! Alright, y'all, help us out with this shit right now. Who can rock around like this? Bring it through you every time like this. Who can rock around like this? Step, step.
Who's with them? Because it sounds like somebody's ad-libbing and like being a hype man.
Every time like this. Who can rock around like this? Step, step up, step, step up.
Maybe Hans?
My side, make some noise real quick. All right. Everybody over here, make some noise. My side, let me see y'all put the hands in the air real quick. Y'all put them down. All right, everybody over here, put up those hands.
Is that Chester?
Right now, put down those hands like this. Let's
Yeah.
see everybody in the house, Chester, your side and my side. Everybody in the house, put their hands up. Come on. Put them up. Now put them down, y'all. Put them down. You ready? You ready to put the hands up again? Yo, put them up side to side like this, y'all. Wave them from side to side like this, y'all. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Wave them from side to side like this, y'all. Put them up, y'all. Put them up, y'all. Put them up, put them up, put them up, y'all. That's right, y'all. Keep them up now. Keep them up now. Let's do this. Come on. Who can rock around like this? Bring it to you every time like this. Who can rock around like this? Step, step up, step, step up. Come on. Who can rock around like this? Bring it to you every time like this. Who can rock around like this? Step, step up, step, step up, step up. All right, San Diego, thank you guys very much. Right now we're gonna check out the sounds of our DJ. He goes by the name of Mr. Han. You feeling that, y'all? San Diego, make some noise.
Oh, that was fun, man. Yeah, Mike does, dude. He just has that old school hip hop feel. I love it, man. It's cool too because, you know, my journey through rap, because I keep a wide spread of genres on the channel. You know, we talked about ghostwriting a little bit, and does it fit? Is it a play? Does it have a place in rap and hip hop? And it seems to be, and Mike even says this in the rap, that if you're not writing your own stuff, you're not a real MC. And that kind of seems to be the popular opinion when it comes to rap and hip hop, that is just a core of what it is. And that you got to write your own stuff. No ghostwriters allowed. All right, there really aren't any comments on this one. It says the live track was previously unreleased on the original Live in Texas release, but was officially released on the 20th anniversary. Okay, cool. So it should be on, I think, the Live in Texas. Yes, it is. Awesome. All right. Let's talk some closing thoughts here. Yeah, I was surprised at how much of that album that I remember. So I must have played it a lot when I was younger. But it's really a lot of the intros and things. There were definitely pieces I didn't remember. And I didn't remember most of the lyrical content. It was just those sounds, man. They're so iconic and varied and interesting. And the album has such a good flow to it, such meaningful content. It's just so cool. I love Linkin Park, and I'm glad to reignite my love for Linkin Park and to see what they have from here. Because past Meteora, I didn't listen to any of it. So there might have been some things that snuck through, but dude, I'm telling you, 99% of anything past Meteora is all fresh to me. So that should be a lot of fun. Yeah, just a really beautiful album. I think it leans to a lot of great conversation and just cool, fun listening. The other week after listening to Hybrid Theory, was driving somewhere in the morning, and it's always trying to figure out, I want to put music on. Do I want to listen to a podcast or somebody talk about something? Or do I just want to, be in the quiet? I think that's important too. Just having times that you don't have anything on, just learn to be quiet and wrestle with your thoughts. Maybe that terrifies you. But for me, from time to time, it's like I just need a little mental breather, But I ended up putting Hybrid Theory on, and it was the best morning ever. And I was heading into a meeting, and I was just hype. So it can actually be very good early morning music. Anyways, let me know your thoughts on the album, anything that you want to add, and we'll have a good conversation in the comments. Again, feel free to check out Patreon. I'll keep working to get Linkin Park stuff up on there, so that should be fun. And we'll probably do a live stream of the Live in Texas. So keep an eye out for that on my posts and things like that. And then if you do miss the live stream, the Patreon live stream, it will always be available for replay. But this was a lot of fun. Thanks for hanging out with me. I hope to see you in the next one, because we're eating good.